Before the late 2000s, games based on comic book characters generally had a reputation for being subpar, which led to many people being wary at the time when Batman Arkham Asylum was announced in August of 2008. But when Arkham Asylum finally released in 2009, it was met with incredibly positive reviews all around. It managed to pass expectations and has since become a classic. It managed to bring a new standard to comic book character games, as well as introduce some new mechanics that are still commonly used in many of today's games. So 11 years on, how is Arkham Asylum, and has it aged well? Let's find out now. Batman Arkham Asylum's story begins with Batman himself bringing his main villain, the Joker, back to Arkham Asylum after catching him at Gotham City Hall. But Batman is suspicious. This time around, the Joker let himself get captured suspiciously easy, so Batman decides to follow him inside for a bit as he's taken to the intensive treatment building. The Joker makes mention about how his crew members are currently staying at the asylum temporarily because of a fire at the nearby Blackgate prison where his crew used to be. He even hints that he may or may not have done it himself.
Whee! Great night for a party!
Not where you're going.
The night is young, Bats. I still have a trick or two up my sleeve. I mean, don't you think it's a little bit funny how a fire at Blackgate caused hundreds of my crew to be moved here?
The Joker's plan is soon revealed, as shortly after, he manages to escape with the assistance of Harley Quinn manning the security and a corrupt guard. He quickly takes over the asylum and releases all of his crew, leaving the staff at their mercy, and thus begins the player's journey through the asylum. This opening sequence always feels special to me each time I boot up this game. The tension as we go deeper into the facility with this madman is unbelievable, and seeing all the security that's around this place really hammers home the fact that Joker is not one to be messed with despite appearances. Behind the frail-looking body and crazy face paint is a smart, cunning, and evil man who's planned this escape for ages. As one of his men put it, there's help both inside and outside. He's wanted this for a long time. But why does he want to take over a place like Arkham Asylum? It's not just so he can use it as his headquarters for an evil corporation. He's got something much more sinister planned for the Dark Knight, which we'll explore further on. But after all that's said and done, we're first introduced to the free-flow combat system that this game is known for. You left click to attack and right click to counter an enemy's attack. It's quite simple to use, but what you'll need to learn when using it is the timing. Unlike in later Arkham games, once you start an action, you can't cancel it before it finishes. So if someone's about to strike and you're in the middle of attacking, you can't counter them and you'll get hit. Depending on whether you're a fast learner or not, you'll pick up on how to fight either within an hour or over the course of a couple playthroughs. Admittedly, I'm still not the best at this game despite playing it through several times, but hopefully you'll pick it up faster than I did. But after this brief introduction to the system, the Joker leaves us for now, but not before giving us an ominous message.
I'm in control of the asylum. You're not going anywhere I don't want you to. Understand?
We quickly get introduced to our lovely radio assistant, Oracle. She'll be your voice of comfort through the game, give you updates on what's going on and where you need to go. I thought she was a very pleasant character, and I really enjoyed having her as a guide. After a brief little encounter with Zsasz, we soon find a room where a few guards and a goon have been locked in, trapped with Joker gas, which is no laughing matter. Saving these guys is quite fun in my opinion, but nothing tops this hilarious interaction. And as it turns out, one of the places the Joker wants to go is this room right here. We have a quick few words and oh my god, what in heck's name is this thing? So, Joker has a monster. How he got it isn't important, but what's important is the fact that you don't even need to fight this thing. No, seriously. He just gives up on life after a while, and then we let the Joker escape. But we do find out something else that's just as disturbing. One of the guards, Frank Bowles, is in on this whole operation, and we see him on camera knocking at the Commissioner. So now it's time to track him down to see what the Joker wants with the Commissioner. Bowles is a drinker, so we can track him down using detective mode. Detective mode is great for a lot of things, from cases like this where we need to track alcohol in the air from Bowles, to hunting down our enemies and seeing them through walls. You can even get descriptions of interactable objects if you use it, and even people. By this point, you're likely to have enough XP to use your points towards an upgrade in the Wayne Tech tab. Here, you can gain all sorts of new abilities and modify your gadgets in exciting ways. I'd say to focus on health on your first run, but be sure to experiment if you'd like. You can change the experience in so many ways using nothing but these gadgets. Not long after, we're introduced to a very big mechanic of this game, Predator Rooms. Facing your enemies head-on is fine when they're unarmed, but as we soon learn, the goons have made it into the armory, and facing these guys head-on would be a grave mistake. But that's not a problem, because Arkham Asylum is perfect for stealth. Come to think of it, this place would make for an amazing paintball game. Using the grapple, we can get up and out of sight on top of gargoyles in rooms where the armed goons patrol. If you got the inverted takedown upgrade, this'll unlock a pretty humorous way to take out enemies. As funny as it is to snatch these guys up and dangle them like sausages at a deli, I gotta admit that it's a very overpowered strategy. The easiest way to beat a predator room is by simply waiting on these gargoyles and snatching them up until they're all gone. But the main fun of these predator rooms for me is the sheer variety of ways you can take out your foes. Your gadgets and the environment all provide loads of fun ways to knock these fools out cold. But after defeating everyone in the room, and then again, we find out that Bowles had an unfortunate end. Though how Joker knew his breath was what Batman was tracking is still a mystery to me. It's at this point that we also get introduced to the Riddler. This persistent yet strangely charming fellow has placed lots of riddles and hidden trophies all across Arkham.
Yes, it is I, Edward Nigma, the Riddler, and more importantly, your intellectual superior.
And if additional XP and bonus content is what you're after, then that's what you'll be rewarded with for solving his puzzles. After this, you'll meet a guard who survived the breakout. I typically wouldn't mention such a small interaction, but this one line of dialogue just sounds so silly.
They were just killing everyone in the room.
Did they get a 6-year-old to write that line? But I can't laugh at him forever, because there is a pretty heartfelt moment that comes right after.
I'll look after Maria. I promise.
And after all that, we finally get to step outside under the gorgeous moonlight with an incredible view of Arkham Mansion. Now would be a good time to discuss the graphics and style of this game. Graphical capability is a strong point in Arkham Asylum, featuring arguably some of the best visuals from 2009, thanks in part to this game being based on Unreal Engine 3. The game's overall design has an extravagant 1800s Victorian industrial style, which looks very impressive, and it's a style which I personally love. Dare I say, it's what motivated me to buy the game. Time has been very kind to the graphics of this game, and I think it's aged supremely well over the years. The lighting is pleasing to look at, the shaders are well done, and the UI is made of vector graphics, which means that they still look perfectly crisp on a 4K monitor. Most of the character models are also pretty good, especially the main cast of characters. But you know what I love most about this game? The sheer amount of spoilers. So let's get into the real meat of the story, shall we? After a long journey later involving saving staff, Scarecrow comes along and gives us a very unsettling nightmare. Throughout the game, he'll gas us occasionally with a spirit toxin, sending us on a wild journey through a side-scroller type world. The way to beat these is by getting to the end and blasting him with light. But be careful, if you walk into his gaze, it's game over. These sequences are really exciting to play, and they change up the pace quite well. Some of them have messaging inside of them as well, telling us a bit about the Dark Knight and what he really fears. But after taking out this fearsome foe, we do end up finding the Commissioner. But you know what else is in this room? A giant enclosed room of glass with someone inside. Now we could just leave it alone, but you know what they say about curiosity. Something about a cat. Oh my god, it's Bane. After Joker finds out that we discovered Bane, he quickly injects him with enough venom to restore him to the brute that we all know and maybe love? Which leads us to this somewhat basic boss fight in a boiler room. Besides the beautiful setting, this boss isn't anything to write home about. You just gotta hit him with your batarang and then beat him up. He can punch, charge, and throw literal chunks of the wall at you. Joker even pitches in and sends a few of his men in with you. But after all that's over, Bane soon gets a hands-on lesson about why structural reinforcement is important, and Batman makes his escape.
You Batman, then the Bruja!
No, Bane. This time I break you!
Well, now he has. With that out of the way, Gordon gets taken to safety, and we're tasked with something new, finding out why the heck Joker had control of the Venom. We make our way to a mini bat cave on the island and swiftly learn that Dr. Young, one of the staff we saved, had been experimenting with Venom. Turns out, she's been making a new chemical based off of it, called Titan, which is like Venom, but way stronger. Now, putting 2 and 2 together, you can imagine how disastrous it'd be if Joker got his hands on this stuff. Young's notes on the project are at the mansion, so after getting a sweet upgrade to our Batclaw, we skedaddle out of there up through the world's most surreal sewer system, and off we go to the mansion. After a whole lot of punching, praying, and a timed puzzle, we finally get rid of those notes for good. But before we find the good doctor, it seems Scarecrow's come back to help Bats refresh some good old childhood trauma. And after that fever dream of a level, we find Young, and Zaz? I should have known you'd get out again, but that's nothing a well-timed Batarang can't fix. We ask Young for the codes to the security around the island, but it seems Joker planned for this too.
What else is Joker planning?
How should I know? You think anything he says makes sense? I think he's insane. Oh my god!
Get out of the way!
Unfortunately, this ends up taking out Young and destroying the codes in the safe, but also, the Warden's been taken. So now we gotta find him for those codes directly. And as tragic as all this is, you gotta admit this is probably the funniest line this whole game has to offer.
As of 10 minutes ago, I have made it illegal to walk on the floor in any part of the asylum. Anyone caught doing so will be... Oh, this is stupid. Anyone caught will have their legs removed and perform magic tricks for Emperor Joker. There, I did it.
You're doing great, Sharpie. Ready for more?
Yeah, that never gets old. So now we go looking for him in the penitentiary, which would be fine if these crazies weren't everywhere. Seriously, these guys are nightmare fuel. And of course, Harley toys with us by making us save some guards, but eventually we find the Warden. We get the codes off of him, say hi to Clayface, and have a little standoff with Harley's goons. We eventually lock her up, and she foolishly reveals the location of where the Joker's making the Titan. So now we go there to stop him, and... oh no. Seems he's already made the Titan, and if you thought steroids could do your body harm, just wait till you see what this stuff does. So after taking down these lunkheads and getting the line launcher, we meet Poison Ivy. We coax her into telling us how to find a cure for Titan, and there is indeed a plant that can help cure it. It just so happens that it's in the sewers, where Killer Croc lives. Great. But as if that weren't bad enough, Joker comes along soon after and injects her plants with Titan. So now we've got plants everywhere. A few will even try to take you out. But after finding out where Killer Croc's lair is, we get visited by Scarecrow again in one last fight. We do end up seeing him once more, but you know what they say about bigger fish, right? Yeah, that's totally put my mind at ease about this guy. We navigate Killer Croc's lair by quietly treading over these platforms to gather the spores we need. But let me tell you, this is easily the scariest part of this game. The tension is unbelievable, because at any moment he can come out of the water to chase you, and if you're not quick enough with a Batarang, it's lights out. But after gathering all the spores, we make it to the exit and send him plummeting. Side note, if you don't detonate the explosives, you're rewarded with this unsettling cutscene. I guess now would be a great time to swiftly bring up the death cutscenes as a whole. Whenever you get taken out, you'll be greeted with a screen of one of the villains taunting you for your failure, teasing you to get back into the fight so you can deal with them for good. This is something that became a mainstay of the Arkham games, and I find it makes dying just a little less painful. So now we try to get a cure ready, but only manage to make one antidote before Ivy's plants come in like Miley Cyrus's wrecking ball and ruin the computer making it. And if that wasn't bad enough, Joker's men are filling the sewer drainage system with Titan waste. If that gets out into the Gotham River, well, it's over. over. So we make our way to a couple strangely nice looking pump houses and deal with that for good. But while we've been underground, Ivy's plants have been doing quite a number to this island, so it's time to deal with her firsthand. Ivy's fight is probably my favorite fight of the whole game, with her having a wide variety of attacks and even the ability to summon hypnotized guards. She can throw a lot at you, but eventually she goes down, just like Holy Mary. And with that out of the way, Joker's got a party going on, and you're the guest of honor. I always liked the opening to this part. Something about our enemies congratulating us for making it this far just feels so satisfying. But after the Joker TV turns out to be the real thing, this whole plan blows up in our face. And after getting up, we find the Joker's throne room. And not only does he have 2 Titan beasts chained up like animals, but he's got dozens of goons waiting for you. And of course, he sticks them on you, resulting in one hectic boss battle. But once all that's over, in comes the best cutscene this game has to offer.
Nicely done, Bats. You deserve a prize. Your old pal, Commissioner Gordon. Say, he looks all run down. Let's pep him up.
No! Batman! Get away!
Here we go. We're gonna have some fun now, kiddies. You're trying to resist the change. That's not fair. Come on, get in. So, you want to play hardball, Bats, do you? Your call. Pickle, pickle. Oh! Oh, you're ruining my big night. Months of planning down the crapper. I just wanted to bring down your grim facade and for once let you see the world as I see it, giggling in a corner and bleeding. But you've denied me even that. I have nothing to live for.
We've been circling the tower since the... Wait! There! Joker is making his move!
Showtime, Batman! Let's give the room something to talk about! Ooh, come on! Change! Get crazy! It's the only way to beat me! You know you want to.
Never.
You wasted the antidote on yourself? Now that's funny!
So, Joker's injected himself with the Titan. Great. Now, he may look cool, but I'd be lying if I said this was a good boss fight. I know it's been said to death by everyone and their grandmas, but whose brilliant idea was it to not let us actually fight the Joker himself? The only time he gets down from his platform is when we're forced to run from him, and we're just fighting his goons for the rest of it. In order to deal damage to him, we just gotta pull him down when he's distracted and whack him a few times. And that's really all we gotta do to get him. But as disappointing as this boss may be, this final cutscene will always be incredible.
I can take it. I can take anything you throw at me, Bats. You can't beat me. I'm actually going to win. Ready for the next round?
Always.
What?
I'll never let you win. Never.
And with that, the Joker has been defeated. Order is swiftly restored to Arkham Asylum, and the day has been saved. But before we can rest, there's more work for the Dark Knight to do in the city, thus capping off one of the greatest video game experiences I've ever had the honor of having. So what have we learned from this? Is Arkham Asylum still a good game in 2023? Is the story any good? Is the gameplay fun? I think you have an idea of where I lean through all this, but let's summarize here, shall we? This game isn't too wild story-wise, well, relatively speaking, but I've found entertaining enough to keep me coming back for years now. I've played through it dozens of times, and I'm sure I'll play at least a dozen more. The gameplay, while not as complex as later games in the series, is quite addicting, even if I'm still not the greatest at it. And visually, I'd say it's held up quite well. If it's been a while since you've played this masterpiece, I'd suggest you give it another shot right away. Just remember, you are the Knight. Thanks for watching!